for you to create database diagrams and also to run SQL queries. And a lot of the videos that you will see next are all done in MySQL Workbench, but you can also run the SQL queries directly in the terminal. So I wanted to show you how to do that, especially more so as Workbench, as it updates and comes with new version. It may not work as well as the previous cohorts. So I wanted to show you an alternative way running SQL queries directly in the terminal. So here there's a SQL file that you can download, and if you open up your SQL file using Sublime or any text editor, you will see that it's just a bunch of SQL queries that you can use to create tables. And this is what the SQL Workbench does when you forward engineer an ERD. So I'll show you how you can do all of these directly in the terminal. So I can connect to MySQL. That's how you do username root, and you do /p or -p, and it will prompt for the MySQL username root password, which in this case we just did root. And then here, this is where you can do a lot of MySQL commands. So this SQL file I can just copy and paste directly here, and it would run a bunch of SQL queries. And you can see that you can go up and you can read all the different comments. Some different things that you can do, you can say show databases, I think, and then you have to put a semicolon at the end. And it will tell you all the different databases, MySQL databases that exist here in the server, right? So here if you go up on the SQL file, it says create database if not exists Twitter, and then it's using the Twitter database. So here you can see that it created the database Twitter. So I can say use Twitter, use, and then followed by the name of the database. You have to put a semicolon. If you don't put a semicolon, it may not work. In this case, it worked, but just make sure that every single query you have a semicolon, and that will be good. So I'm using Twitter, database has changed, and then I can say, okay, show tables. Okay, let me do it with this without a semicolon. See how it just enters that? So I have to put a semicolon, and then it shows. So every time you do a SQL query, it's just a good idea to put a semicolon over here. You can see that I got 4 tables in Twitter, follows, tweets, user. So I can do here, this is where you can do all the commands. Select star from users, again, semicolon, and it tells you, you may have to widen it a little bit, otherwise it looks a little bit bad. But this is where you can do select from users where ID is greater than 3, or you can run a bunch of SQL queries directly here. All that MySQL Workbench is a place where you can create an ERD, which is super helpful. And there's a query editor where you can put in the query and it would execute. You can do all of that directly in the terminal too, and it's up to you. Some developers like using GUI, some people like using terminal. It's really up to you. I think it's good for you to know both. Okay, so have fun as you learn about different SQL queries and learn how to select, insert, delete, update, and do some interesting queries today.